we could use always, but especially in the last year and a half. It's a good laugh.
You got it. And all the benefits of laughing that go along with that. And how about being able to laugh and support a great cause? Now, there's a good combination. You'll be supporting the Teddy Bear Cancer Foundation. If you come out for Comedy for Cause, it's happening on the 29th of April. It's a Thursday night, and it's at the Red Piano. And outside, but not in front, they've actually built this amazing place in the back that has various tables, a beautiful stage, and you have to reserve your own table pod. We'll tell you about that in just a second. And the comedians are going to be the headliner, Pete George, who is from Planet Hollywood, and also
Dr. Mike.
Yep. And it's going to be emceed by our own Scott Topper, and also the hilarious comedy of Anne Wilde, who joins us on the Light Line and is new to Santa Barbara, from all places, from Switzerland. So, Anne, thank you for joining us this morning. How are you?
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me. I'm fantastic. Very, very good. Happy to be here.
You're a voiceover actress, a stand-up comedian, a writer. You've performed in film and television, theater, and comedy clubs for decades. New York, Los Angeles, and across Europe. But you recently came from Switzerland. I mean, that's just so curious to me.
What were you doing there?
Why Switzerland?
Yeah. Yodeling class?
I wish I could say, some championship skiing thing, but that is not the case. I was living in Geneva, Switzerland for the last 16 years. I moved out there for love. Ended up getting married. I had one child, and it was great. But then it didn't work out. But I decided to stay. My ex moved to New York, and I just decided to stay there and raise my son because where we lived, it was the French-speaking section. We lived like 15 minutes across the border from France. So I just thought it would be a beautiful, interesting experience, a whole new chapter in my life to raise a kid over there. And it was actually an amazing time.
So your son is now 15. I guess he must be wooing people with his multi-languages. Is that right? Or did he?
Well, I wish, but right now because everything is still Zoom. They're just about to go back to school full time. I can't wait at Santa Barbara High School. So yippee, yeah. So they can actually meet each other and have friends and friendship again.
Hey, when did you realize that you were funny? Hey, I'm pretty funny. Did I come early or late?
That's a very good question. Okay. My whole life, my father was very funny growing up. He was kind of like a Jerry Lewis type of character. But myself, I was a serious dramatic actress. I went to NYU Teacher School of the Arts and Broadway Theater School. I wanted to be the next Meryl Streep. So I was, pursuing serious films and things like this. Then I moved to Los Angeles, and I was part of this group of gals who would walk, Griffith Park, right there in Hollywood, near the Hollywood side. So we would go on these weekly hikes. And at the time, I had to have this side job, as all actors kind of have something on the side to support themselves. And I decided to become a massage therapist. So that is ripe with a lot of material right there. And so I did one of the worst massages of my life to a very, very famous person's son, actually. And it was such a nightmare. And I was telling the gals, they were all producers and writers, whatever. And I was telling the gals all about my experience. And they were howling the whole time we were walking. And I said, guys, this isn't funny. This was horrible. And then I kept going on and on. They're like, oh my God. They couldn't stop laughing. They said, you have to be part of our comedy show. And I'm like, wait a minute. No. I'm not a comic. I'm a serious dramatic actress. I don't know how to do that. And they said, oh, come on, just give it a try. Just come up one Wednesday, at Spaceland in Hollywood. And I said, all right, I'll do it. And I was terrified. But after the first time, I found my funny, and I was hooked. And I couldn't stop.
What did your material consist of? Like your first time on stage, was it your experience as a massage therapist? The funny things that happened.
It was about my neighbors, actually. I think I lived in a little bungalow in Hollywood. It looked like a little dwarf's, house kind of thing, right on Hollywood Way, actually. And so weird things would happen. I was like Unit A, and then there was B and C, and all these strange occurrences would happen. So I would just tell the truth, and I still do. It's all all the truth about crazy things that happened in my life, and then Yeah, things like that. I just take the truth and put a little twist on it, and somehow it's funny.
I know it was a long time ago, but you have to tell me what was so funny about giving this guy a massage. Like,
yeah, it's a good.
Oh my God!
As long as it's not off color.
I won't say who it was. I'll say he was the son of a very famous Hollywood actor, and yes, and so I was on call with all of these, not like a call girl, but like on call, like with all the hotels, like to go out and do massages in Beverly Hills. And I get this call to go to like the Beverly Hills Hotel and do this famous guy, and it starts out as a normal massage, but it ended up lasting like almost 3 hours. After the massage, he had me like, oh my God, ordering a hamburger for his dog Fluffy, and then breaking it up in pieces, feeding the dog. He had to go to an award ceremony, so I had to like chill the champagne flutes, and then he was in the shower and started screaming, "Oh my God, there's no comb in here!" So I had to call down to the front desk and get a comb. And then he was colorblind, and he couldn't figure out the color of his socks for the award ceremony. And so it was just so awful. It was so traumatic. It sounds like ridiculous, but it was like it went on, and I was trapped in this hotel room, like
Hopefully you got a good tip. We're talking with Anne Wilde. She is a professional voiceover actress, stand-up comedian. You can see her too at on stage at the Red Piano on the 29th of April. Stand-up comedy is, it is much more difficult than it seems. And I only know just a teeny bit because one time I did somebody wanted us to do something, and I put together with some help like a 3-minute little deal, and it's so funny because
how did you feel that it went?
Okay, but things you think are funny, I guess it depends on the timing. Have you ever been on stage and you think something for sure is going to be funny, and then you say it and you're like, oh, that wasn't. Oh, what happened?
Yes, that has happened. And one of the last shows, things have been on hold right now with COVID. Obviously, this is going to be the first live show in over a year. So I'm so excited that that we're going to actually have that audience participation, because doing it on Zoom and whatever, that's just not exactly the same kind of rapport that you usually have. So yeah, and then there's something falls flat, it falls flat, and then you make fun of yourself that it fell flat, and then it becomes funny,
a big fan of observational humor, like George Carlin, one of my favorites. And I see things pretty much every day that's funny. But observing something and then turning it into a joke, that's not easy to do. How do you do that? Because you observe something, but how do you make it funny?
I've been right. Here's the thing. It's funny, Gary, because you said, when did you find out you were funny? As a kid, I have memories of writing down little on pieces of paper all over the place, napkins, this, that, little bits, little observations, but I didn't know what I was doing. So it wasn't until years later that I became a comic that I realized, oh my God, honey, you were taking notes. What? So when I see something funny, I'll either record it real quick on my phone or write it down on a piece of paper or something, and then I compile like a whole bunch of pieces of paper in a notebook, and then just go through it all and figure. It's like storytelling. So I never tell a joke. I just tell stories that somehow have these funny twists,
Yeah. Easier said than done.
Speaking of observational, I don't know if it's humorous or not, but just an observation in general. You've been here in Santa Barbara for the last 3 months. What do you think? Are you just soaking it all in? Or?
Oh my God. I'm walking around with this Cheshire grin of happiness. I look like some kind of freak probably, because I'm genuinely so happy. It is like paradise here. And weather-wise, Geneva's quite cold and rainy and icky, and it's gorgeous here every day. So I'm just soaking it up, going for bike rides down by the beach, hanging out with my big brother. I'm just loving it.
Hey, we want to mention your big brother is actually Scott Topper.
That's right.
He does our afternoon show, and he's super talented as well. And we met him many, 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 many years ago. So he's your big brother, your little sis.
He is my big brother. Did he tell you that he was once a mascot? You know that background?
Yes, he was the Philly
for a sports team, or was it a baseball team?
Yes. Yes, our dad, exactly. The Philly Fanatic, the baseball team for the Phillies. Yeah, and what's funny is our dad was the team photographer for the 76ers basketball team, but he also on the side was like moonlighting as Big Shot, which was their mascot. So it all started with my dad, and then my brother became the Philly Fanatic. And these costumes, it was really quite cool. They were fitted by the same people who did the Muppets. I think it was called Harrison Erickson. And so they had to go and get fitted, and oh man, that was really, really quite fun. But yeah, I think the worst costume my brother ever donned was he was the mascot for the Maalox Whip Cam at one point in time. Yeah, at the mall.
Which was what? Well, he was a whip cam? He was actually a whip, like a whipped cream cam kind of thing?
He was walking around as I actually got to do a mask. I was once the Easter Bunny, but that lasted just like one time at the mall. Never did it again. Wasn't my thing.
If we had longer, you could give us all the 411 on Scott growing up. Did you bug him as a little? Did you bug him as a little sister though?
What's that?
Were you a pest to him?
I was. Well, no, actually, we were honestly the best of friends growing up, and we still are. In fact, that's the reason I moved back to Santa Barbara, because during COVID and everything, I just realized that, it makes you reflect, and I thought, God, I miss my family and my brother dearly, and so, we moved here 3 months ago and are just loving it.
Hey, if you're just tuning in, we're talking with Anne Wilde. She's a comedian, voiceover talent, actress, and writer as too, and if you need a laugh, and you will be supporting the Teddy Bear Cancer Foundation coming up on Thursday, April 29th. It's called Comedy for a Cause, and it's out at the Red Piano, and you can get tickets by going to the redpiano.com. You can go to the Teddy Bear Cancer Foundation website as well. We're so happy.
We can't wait to see you.
We can't wait to see you.
And April 29th.
Yay!
Come down, get your giggle on.
Get your giggle on.
Hey, before we let you go, Anne, I want to recommend direct people to your website. It is AnneWilde.com. It's ANNEWILDE.com. And people check it out. And you're also a voiceover artist too. It's amazing. You do it all.
Hey, thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you on the 29th, if not before.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Connection is having whole home coverage with Cox Panoramic Wi-Fi.